don't mind me over here. I want you to see the picture. So the work that we're doing here is about imagining what a world looks like where you have a cognitively stimulating classroom that is equitable to all learners and is sensitive to social emotional learning. So here is an example of a type of classroom that is modular and kids are able to move about freely. So immediately you take that restriction of this is the line you need to sit in. You can see that there's positive reinforcement around feelings. How do you feel? You can see that this chair can be moved around and this table can be moved out of the way. There is no front of the classroom or back of the classroom proper. The teacher is not the center of attention. And then the child is forced to have that self-regulation come into play. Of course, this might be something that you work toward. And might be more of an ideal scenario, but it is definitely something that can happen in stair steps. And as well, you see that some of the kids have tablets in front of them and some don't, where you have some children who are engaged by that level of stimulation and some that may choose not to, some that are off and away from the height of the stimulation, and some that are right in the center of the social engagement. I have a series of these images I'd love to do this breakdown with, and from the teachers I'd love to hear how this hits you from a practicality standpoint and what you can implement now. So as an adult out in the world, I can't tell you how often embarrassment and intimidation is used as a tactic to help persuade me to buy something or persuade me toward an upsell. And I'm really curious about how that has worked its way into the learning environment. How, embarrassing a student because they're late, or embarrassing a student because their homework is missing, or because they are not able to read the sentence out loud, like some other students, is used as a sort of a negative reinforcement. It is a go-to. It's a staple probably since the time that I've been in school. So then we start to ask, if it works, why mess with that model? What's wrong with that? And I think when we're talking about whether a student's going to go out of their way to put themselves in an academic environment, the motivation isn't there if we've only used negative reinforcement. If you are a teacher or a teacher adjacent, you might look at an image like this one and wonder, like, it might make you cringe to think that a student might be vulnerable, like where the student is centralized. But in every tactic and approach used in this classroom or in a learning environment, and that goes all the way up really to like corporate trainings, if you have the student centralized but they can't be vulnerable with this shared this shared vulnerability, is it good? The concept classroom that you're looking at here is based on this feeling of being protected and in your own space and fully comforted, but at the same time in a shared community space. It's based on this modular like modes of being. This could be like the teacher and these could be the students, and they are having what could be like a tutoring session. And what's the largest benefit of tutoring is that it's like one-on-one. The teacher sees the students. This may not be as practical when you only have one teacher in the classroom, because who's watching the rest of the students? But if you can wrap your head around this concept of personal care while at the same time it's open and airy and there's access to nature, I think you won't battle as much with technology and having to put a tablet in their hands, because nothing compares to this. So I've seen this in a modern connected workspace that was concepted out for GSA. And years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, I went to a neocon event. Neocon is interior design for government spaces. And they were just working on having like a cubby hole sort of inside of a large workspace and just like repeat it. And it's community, the new community. Try it out.